Alrighty, team. Welcome to class this week. Got a couple new decorations up in here. As my aunt had said, it's good to see Penn State propping up BC over there. So glad we have the support, or glad they have the support, I guess. Welcome to class this week. Today we'll be focusing on a lot of different lower body stuff. What I'd like to do, I know last week we had focused quite a bit on hip flexion and hip flexion end range strength with passive range holds and liftoffs and things like that. I'd like to do that again, but from a different position. I will show you a supine position to work on external rotation. That'll be the first place that we start today. And then we'll also spend some time working on the squat. Drilling not only the squat as a movement, but then some of the end range positions within the squat that are accessible. So today will be a good day to have either a step stool that you can use or your yoga blocks, because if the squat is too difficult in a freestanding squat, you'll want to have something to sit on so that you could support yourself down in that low position. Other than that, you'll just need tennis balls, always good to have, and then towels. Tennis ball is not required, but just good to help create a little extra tension. So we'll be doing cars in a standing position today, and let's rock and roll. Let's begin from the bottom up. So we're going to move from ankles to neck today, just working in the opposite direction as usual. So go ahead and grab the tennis balls. Give them a light squeeze, about 20% effort. Lock out your elbows, unshrug your shoulders, reach your knuckles down to the ground. Squeeze the floor with your feet and find that similar like 20% effort tension throughout your legs, your butt, and your abs. So everything is just a little bit rigid here. And when you're ready, let's start with the left ankle. So lock out the left knee, reach the foot in front of you. And let's make clockwise circles here with the ankle. 2, 3. We'll be skipping toes today because it's like 50 degrees in the garage, and I'll be keeping my socks on. So if you want to do your toes today, feel free to just pause. If you guys know how to do them, go ahead. Let's do the other ankle. As you stand on your left foot, try to grab the floor with your feet. Think about creating tension through the toes and squeezing the floor. When you're ready, let's go to the knee. As I often do, I'll turn around here so you can see sort of what's happening. Give the right knee a little bend. Your toes should still be able to touch the ground. And then drop your heel to the inside. This is tibial external rotation. Bend the knee. Tibial internal rotation by dropping the heel to the outside, and then extend the knee. Let's do 2 more of those. Drop the heel in, bend, drop the heel out, extend, heel in, bend, heel out, extend. Now the opposite, heel stays out, bend, heel in, extend, out, bend, in, extend. 1 more, out, bend, in, extend. Grab the floor with your right foot, bend the left knee, toes should still touch the ground. Right heel, heel drops in, bend, heel out, extend, heel in, bend, out, extend, heel in, bend, out, extend. And now reverse. Bend, heel in, extend, heel out, bend, in, extend, heel out, bend, in, extend. I know we've got a couple folks who are new, so let's just review the purpose of CARs, which is what we're doing right now. CARs are controlled articular rotations, C-A-R-S, CARs. The purpose of CARs is to take a joint through its full rotational range of motion, which is a method of maintaining the joint's range of motion. So by practicing CARs, we hopefully prevent the loss or the shrinkage of your range of motion, which means that the range that we create or expand or earn through some of these other practices that we'll do today is less likely to dissipate over time. So that's what we're trying to do here for those of you guys who are new. Let's go to the hip. You could either put your hand on a wall. If you're close to a door frame, you can grab the door frame, or a piece of furniture, you can grab onto that. So I'm gonna grab onto the squat rack here, still creating tension throughout the rest of your body. Let's take the left foot over the right, flex the hip, lifting the knee up. That ankle should be inside the line of the hip and knee. Open, abducting the hip from here. Once you get stuck, internal rotation, reaching back to the wall behind you. Come down to meet the knee and reverse. Foot and knee drive back. Lift out. Once you get stuck here, I don't have very much, obviously. Drop that foot under. Hike the knee up. Lead the way back to the front. Number 2. Lift the knee. Foot stays inside. Open. Reach the foot back. Come down to meet the knee and reverse. And number 3, I know I've mentioned this maybe the last 2 or 3 weeks, but these standing hip cars are one of the only places where we can get this hip external rotation as part of our cars practice. So I've really gravitated personally to more standing cars in class with you guys, but also as part of my morning cars. So what it's allowing me to do is hopefully get some more practice with hip external rotation, and also any progress that I'm making there prevent me from losing that progress. That's number 2. Reach out to the side, drop your foot under, lead the way back with that right foot. And then last one, right foot over left, lift, open, internally rotate, drop down, reverse. Very good. So that's ankle, knee, and hip. Let's go to the wrists. Set one ball aside somewhere. Grab your right forearm with your left wrist. Keep your palm up to the ceiling and this underside of your forearm up to the ceiling as well. Don't let the forearm rotate as you move the wrist. So let's move the wrist. If you imagine a clock in front of you, your knuckles are pointing towards 9 o'clock, down to the ground, 6 o'clock, over to the thumb side, 3 o'clock, up to 12 o'clock. 2 more, 9, 6, 3, 12, 9, 6, 3, 12, and reverse. 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9. One more. Very good. And the other side. Grab the left forearm. Same thing. This whole bone, or these 2 bones, shouldn't move. So keep them right where they are. All the movement comes from the wrist. So moving to 3 o'clock. 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. One more. 9, 12, reverse. Squeeze about 20% with that left hand. And there you go. Next, let's go to the elbows. So both tennis balls again, light squeeze, tension throughout the rest of your body. Let's turn the tennis balls forward, bend the elbow, turn them away, straighten, turn, flex, turn, extend, turn, flex, turn, extend. Keep the balls pointed towards your thighs here, and flex, turn, extend, turn, flex, turn, extend, turn. Last one, flex, turn, extend. Next, going to the shoulder proper. I'll demonstrate from the side so you can sort of see the big arc that this goes through and what our objectives are as far as trying to limit movement, okay? So what we want here is, again, gripping the floor with the feet. I like to take my left hand and place it behind my back, but you could also place it right on your sternum or on your stomach. And what that hand is trying to sense is, do you sort of bend back and forth like this as you try to get the arm overhead? So a little bit of tension throughout the body. Let's bring the right arm across your body, raising it up. Bicep grazes your cheek as you come to this overhead position. We want to internally rotate, so the ball is going to rotate forward and out. Keep twisting in that direction as you reach back behind you and come down to meet the thigh. I've got my microphone about to pop off here. There we go. Now at the bottom, you'll see the ball is facing out. This is internal rotation. So from here, I reach straight back. I begin turning the ball up to the ceiling, in towards me, down to the floor. All of that is external rotation at the shoulder, coming up to overhead and back across the body. Number 2, right arm across the body, elbow is straight, bicep grazes cheek, overhead position, internal rotation, reaching back behind you, ball faces out at the bottom, and then reverse. Reach back, shoulder extension, external rotation, come up to flexion, across the midline and down. Let's see if I can do the whole thing anatomically for some of our coaches who are on here. So right arm, right shoulder is going to begin flexing and adducting, coming across the body. Bicep grazes the cheek into full flexion. From here, internal rotation, reaching back into shoulder extension and adducting close to the thigh or to the midline. And now reverse, shoulder extends, externally rotates, adducts, or actually this would be abducts to the flexion position, and then adducts down back to the start. Let's try the left shoulder. And again, experiment with where you put this right hand. You could put it in front of you or behind you. Left arm comes across the midline, bicep grazing the cheek, overhead, internal rotation, reaching back behind you, come down to the thigh, reverse, external rotation, overhead, across the body. Number 2. Reverse. Very good. Now for the shoulder blades. So this I'll demo from the side just so you can see the movement directions here. So shoulder shrug, pull back, unshrug, roll forward. Shrug, pull back, unshrug, roll forward. Shrug, roll back, unshrug, roll forward. Let's reverse. Back, shrug, forward, unshrug, back, shrug, forward, unshrug, back, shrug, forward, unshrug. Now for T-spine, arms across the chest. Let's roll the elbows down towards the ground, rotate the left shoulder towards the floor, right shoulder leans back to your right back pocket, right shoulder rotates up to the ceiling, left shoulder to back left pocket, right shoulder towards the floor, and elbows to center, reverse, right shoulder towards the floor, left shoulder to back left pocket, elbows up to the ceiling. Keep them attached to your chest though. Right shoulder to back right pocket, left shoulder towards the floor, down to the ground. 2 more. You could also think of the clock analogy here. Right now the center of my chest is pointed to about 2 o'clock. 1, 12 if there's a clock on the wall in front of me, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, reversing, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we got one more. Now these are rotational spinal cars, which certainly have a lot of value, but for the spine, our most valuable cars are actually linear in nature, flexing and extending the spine, not necessarily having all of this rotation. So we'll go over that in the next class when we use quadruped as our initial warm-up position. So here we go. Now the neck, chin to chest, look to right armpit, right ear back to right back pocket, eyes up to ceiling, over to the left, down to left armpit, down, chin to chest, reverse, look to left armpit, left ear back to back left pocket, eyes up, over to the right, down, chin to chest. I don't know what number this is, number 2. Same thing. Think about pointing your nose to all the different numbers on a clock face. Again, there shouldn't be any more than 20% tension throughout your whole body. You're not trying to do this with a large amount of force. Now, real quick, I didn't talk about this for some of the new folks, but if you have issue with some sort of range of motion, you should just skip that range. So let me try to demo here. Let's say it hurts anywhere, whether it's front or back. Don't worry about where it is. If it hurts when you look up, then when you do neck cars, you're going to look to the right armpit, lean back slightly towards the right back pocket, and then instead of looking up at the ceiling, you're just going to take your nose directly across, parallel to the floor, and then look to the left. Okay, so you skip the whole part where you look up. That applies to any joint. All right, so if it hurts when you take your arm overhead, then your shoulder cars should look something like that instead of coming all the way up. If it hurts when you reach back like this for some reason, then as we move from this position, you just come straight out, externally rotate, come to overhead, so on and so forth. Okay, so every position, every joint, when you perform cars, the range of motion can be adapted to what is possible for you. Okay, so what I'm demonstrating is what you would hopefully be able to do, but if something hurts, then you just skip that part. Now, why this is really important is usually the advice is, oh, you hurt your shoulder? Well, don't move your shoulder at all. Try to prevent it from doing anything. Well, that's terrible advice. That's the way you get blood, nutrients, water, and other types of things into the joint. So moving it is actually part of the healing process. So if the only range you could move your shoulder is from here to here with no pain, then you should be doing as much of that motion as possible. Okay, so just food for thought. There is never, or very unlikely, an instance where zero movement is actually a good idea, except for perhaps a compound fracture where the bone is completely broken and out of place. So just some food for thought. Now let's begin. We're going to get started in a supine position. This is a relatively easy and accessible pails rails position for most folks to practice external rotation from. Okay, so having a block here may come in handy if you need some additional elevation on the hip, or you could always put your foot up against the wall. Now that might be difficult for me to demo today, so I'm not really going to try to do it. But as we get into it, you'll understand. You could put it up on a piece of furniture or against the wall. So let's take your right ankle and place it over your left thigh. All right, so for some of you, this may already be a stretch in the back of the right hip, depending on how mobile your hips are. Some of you guys may not be able to get into that position because you can't get enough external rotation here. If that's the case, then what you need to do maybe is find a piece of furniture and just twist your foot to the inside and then line this ankle up against that piece of furniture, okay? So maybe I have like a couch here or something like that, but hopefully you're able to get it over this thigh, all right? Now, what we need to do is try to find a stretch on the back side of the right hip. So we're looking for external rotation here. There's a couple ways we can get this stretch. You can pull that ankle further down the thigh, and you can push the knee away, which is going to give you a larger degree of external rotation. And you can play with this, just trying to figure out what's going to work best for you. But find a position that feels comfortable for the knee. Then what we're going to do is we're going to push this ankle closer towards our chest, okay? So you could do that in one of two ways. You could elevate this foot up on the wall and scoot your butt closer and closer to the wall, giving you more and more of a stretch. You can scoot that foot a little bit closer, which isn't really going to work for those of you guys who are a little more mobile. Or you can prop this left foot up on a block, and that's going to push the thigh back and give you a more intense stretch, okay? So I'm going to use the block and try to find a good position for me. So here, I've got a stretch in the back of my right hip. I really want my ankle to be on the thigh here. If it's my foot, I can get some bend at the ankle, and it's not going to be as beneficial, okay? So this is the position that should give you a stretch in the back of the right hip, all right? Now, from here, we're going to take about 10 breaths, just relaxing into this stretch position, and then we will begin Pales Rails contractions, okay? So just relax. I may actually need another block here. We'll see. Just relax into the stretch. You're trying to teach your body that the stretch that you're feeling is nothing to panic about, nothing to be alarmed about. Can't seem to find the right block position. That's a little better. All right, when you're ready, let's begin Pales Rails contractions. The objective of these contractions is to eventually get into a deeper stretch, a deeper range of motion, okay? So what you want to do is begin driving your ankle into the left thigh. So think about your right ankle pushing into your left thigh. It's as if you were trying to straighten out your leg and return it to its normal position, okay? So here we go. Start pushing that ankle into the thigh. 20% effort, 20 to 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. You can grab onto it and pull against it to create some extra tension. And let's push into the thigh. Safest, greatest effort for 10. 3, 2, 1. Place your hand on the inside of your ankle and try to pull your right ankle towards your hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Opposite contraction. Drive ankle into the left thigh. Safest, greatest effort for 10. 3, 2, 1. try to pull it off of your thigh. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, keep your stretch position here. If you're able to pull this foot off the thigh, that means you need to get into a deeper range here. One thing that I want to go over real quick is also how you can create more tension here, okay? So if you can create tension throughout the rest of your body, you'll be able to create more in this hip, all right? So the objective here, take your tennis balls, drive your hands down into the ground, squeeze the tennis balls hard, and now drive that right ankle into the left thigh for 10, okay? Safest, greatest effort. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Try to pull it off the thigh. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So hopefully that felt like you could create a little more tension. Now what we're going to do is work on passive range holds from this position. So this is still the supine position, still pretty relaxed. I mean, it's very easy for most folks to get into this position. Hopefully you were able to. You could get rid of the blocks under that left foot. You won't need them for this drill. What you're going to do is lift your left leg, pulling your right ankle closer to your chest. Then you are going to try to pull that ankle off of the leg, and then you're going to straighten the leg. Your objective is to keep this foot from kicking out once you take away its support, okay? So the way a passive range hold works is you use a support to get into the passive range. You take away the support and try to prevent any movement from happening, okay? So we're going to do 2 sets of 5 of these, and then we'll continue from there. So here we go. Deep breath in. Use the left thigh to bring your right ankle closer. Think about pulling the right ankle away from the thigh and then let it drop to the ground. Try not to let that foot move. Hold for 5, 3, 2, 1. Use that thigh to bring it back. Try to pull the ankle away. Let the leg drop. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're having trouble with the thigh, just use your hands. Pull that pull that ankle in close. Think about pulling it towards your chest. Take your hands away. Don't let it move. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, you could use the hands. Pull it close to your chest. Think about driving that ankle towards your chest. Hands away. 4, 3, 2, 1. One more here. I'm using hands. Again, you could use your thigh. Try to pull the ankle in towards you. Take the hands away. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Nice job. So we'll do one more set. Same thing, passive range hold. Experiment with either the thigh or the hands to create that passive support. You could also use, maybe use a band or something like that. This time I'm gonna try to use my thigh. So here we go. Right ankle on the left thigh. The thigh is going to drive the right ankle towards your chest. Then think about pulling the ankle off of the leg. Take the leg away. 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, find that passive stretch. And don't let that ankle move. 3, 2, 1. 3 to go. And take it away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. 2 more. Pull it into passive range and take the thigh away. You could see I lose a lot of range of motion there. 4, 3, 2, 1. That means there's a big difference between my passive external rotation and my active external rotation. Last one. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Very nice work. Now we're going to go to the left side. Pails, rails, and then passive range holds together. Let's see. Just want to see where we're at. Total class time, about half hour. Not too bad. Really deep work on this hip. Get the blocks in the right position here. I don't know about you guys. I actually didn't like the block too much for getting this position, but we'll see. Now this side I know actually is a little less mobile. So you have your left ankle crossed over your right thigh. As you lift up that leg, really the best solution is to put it on a wall, but I don't really have the right setup for that here in terms of also being able to show you guys on camera. So you could try that at home, and I bet it will be much more effective. You could also do this sitting in a chair, but it's nice to have your back supported by the floor. So 10 breaths here. Should be a stretch on the back side of your left hip. And here we go. Begin driving left ankle into the right thigh. 20% effort, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Deep breath in, and safest, greatest effort for 10. 3, 2, 1. Try to pull that ankle off. It will not move if you're at your end range of motion. 3, 2, 1. Drive it into the thigh. Safest, greatest effort for 10. 3, 2, 1. Try to pull it off the thigh. You can put your hand on the inside of the ankle to give you a target. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drive it into the thigh. Last one, safest, greatest effort for 10. 3, 2, 1. Place your hand on the inside and pull against that hand. 3, 2, 1. Very nice. Now, little break. And then let's begin passive range holds. So you're going to, again, pull the hip into external rotation, pretty close to its end range. Then you're going to gradually take away the support, and you want to try to lose as little external rotation as possible, okay? So in theory, if I could pull this ankle here, then as soon as I take that leg away, I should be able to hold it there. I cannot, which means there's a deficit of active mobility compared to passive mobility. The smaller we can make that deficit, in theory, the more resilient you are to injury, all right? So here we go. Pull that ankle towards your chest. Think about pulling it off of the thigh and take the thigh away. Hold for 5, 3, 2, 1. Pull the ankle in, squeeze it off of the thigh and towards your chest. Take the thigh away. 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, squeeze it towards your chest. Take the thigh away. 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 to go here. Squeeze it towards your chest. Take thigh away. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one here. And hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Really tough Oh, man. All right, we got one more set. I'm going to use my hands on this one. All the concepts are the same. Just using my hands instead of my other thigh. So here we go. Although the thigh is quite nice. Seems to work a lot better. Let's give it a shot though. So pull that ankle towards your chest. Think about squeezing it. Take the hands away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, you could see how much more range I get passively versus when I have to do it with just the hip alone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull that in. Think about driving ankle towards your chest. Take the hands away. 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 reps to go. Next one. And pull ankle to chest. Take hands away. 4, 3, 2, 1. And last one. Squeeze it towards your chest. Should feel inner thigh. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Very good. Nice job. Now, let's work on hip flexion. We're going to work from the figure 4 position. So you'll want to come up to a seated position. We are going to train passive range holds for hip flexion. I guess, yeah, in the figure 4 position. I was confused because I'm not in figure 4. So we just had left hip externally rotated. So you're sitting up straight, legs are straight. Let's lift this right leg, bring the right foot in close to your knee, sit up nice and tall. And if you can, let this knee kind of settle to the ground. If not, you may need to support yourself on your hands momentarily. Now, we're going to be training this hip, this left hip. What you want to do is you're going to lift up on that hip. It's going to be in space. The hip will be flexed. We're going to do the same thing that we just did. Same concept, a passive range hold. So I'm going to lift it up with my hands. I'm then going to take my hands away and then try to hold my hip in space or hold my thigh in space, okay? So what this looks like, if I can hopefully demonstrate, what I like to do is straighten this knee, squeeze this quad tight so that this knee can't bend and there's a lot of tension here. Pointing the toes is a very good idea to create tension in your calf. Then, either with the knee, the thigh, or the shin, pick this leg up. Think about pulling it away from your hands and then hold in space. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now it can be helpful to try to use one hand, either your inside or outside, so that you can keep the other one on the ground and not shift your position. Because what you're likely to do is lift this guy up and then lean a little bit further back. So it'll appear that the thigh is as high as it was before, but you're actually opening up the angle of the hip, okay? So let's keep, for now, left leg straight, left hand on the ground. Right hand's going to assist in raising it. Lift, then pull it away from your hand. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it down. Bring it into passive range again. Again, keep this hand right where it is. Lift, pull away from the hand, hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, this is, I don't know, number 4, I guess. We're going for 5. And when you're ready, lift, hold. 3, 2, 1. Let it drop. Deep breath in. And lift. And hold. 3, 2, 1. Very good. Now, If you're struggling with this position and getting it up off the ground, or perhaps holding it up off the ground, the further back you go, the easier this will be. So let me demonstrate. If I come with this left hand all the way forward and I try to lift this leg, I can get maybe an inch off the ground. That's going to be a very close to end range, passive range hold. As I take this hand back behind me, I can lift this leg much higher, and I'll have more space. So the further back you need to lean in order to accomplish that lift, or getting into the passive range of motion, make that work for you, okay? So all you have to do is lean back. Now let's try, we did holds, let's try liftoffs. So the objective here is to find the space where you can put your hands and still lift your leg, but I only want you to lift it enough to disconnect from the floor. So we're talking like I should be able to slide my cell phone underneath my heel. I'm not looking for like massive amounts of strength or range here, okay? So creep your hands forward until you feel like you are in a deep hip flexion position for you, and then let's try to lift this leg, okay? So we're gonna do a set of 10, and it's gonna be intense, so be ready. If you need to make it easier, just walk your hands back, all right? So here we go, deep breath in. If you can, press this knee down, and I'm actually gonna just give you a quick tip. Either a tennis ball or a yoga block under that knee will give you something that you can push into and create some more tension, okay? So here we go, deep breath in, tension through the left leg, and lift. 1, set down. Deep breath in, move a little further forward if you need to. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is brutal, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Alrighty. So that is some hip flexion training on this straight leg. This base position we're using is called figure 4. If you want, I want you to just experiment with this for a moment. We could switch figure 4 pretty easily, but let's lean back, lift this leg, bend the knee, that's a hinge, and then internally rotate, and see if you can set the knee and foot down as close together at the same time as possible. All right, so this is what's called an isometric movement path. We're holding the hip in one position as we bend the knee, rotate at the hip, so on and so forth. All right, so let's see if we can do 5 of those, and then we'll move to the other side. The further back you lean, the easier this will be. Lift up, swing the foot under, straighten the knee, set it back down, lift, bend, internally rotate, try to set down together, knee and foot. Why am I kicking my own ass today? Lift, externally rotate, straighten the knee, set down, lift, bend the knee, internally rotate, drop together, lift, externally rotate, send it out. 2 more, lift, bend, internally rotate, lift, externally rotate, straighten. Last one. If you're really struggling with this, lean away from that leg. So if I like drop down to my elbow over on the right side, this will be much easier. If you really want to challenge, get closer to it, and it will be much harder. And drop down. Lift, externally rotate, straighten. Now, figure 4 on the other side. Lift, bend, feet together, shift your weight. I'm going to take the block I used before. Lift the right foot, internally rotate, straighten the leg, figure 4 on the other side, okay? So we're going to jump right into passive range holds on this right leg, right hip. So let's see. Left hand is going to guide the hip. Right hand, is what's going to dictate the intensity of this drill. So further forward the right hand, the harder it is. So lift, take the hand away, hold for 5, 3, 2, 1, and reset. I'm going to go further forward here and hold. 3, 2, 1. 3 to go. Lift and hold. 3, 2, 1. 2 more. Deep breath in. Lift and take the hand away. Hold. 3, 2, 1. And here we go. Use left hand to lift. Take the hand away and hold. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Take this yoga block. You can see actually what I said earlier, I don't have as much external rotation on this hip, so I can't really get this knee down to the ground as well when I'm training this leg. So again, having this yoga block to press into will help you during these contractions, all right? So next is going to be passive range liftoff. We are going to get as deep as you can with hands forward and lift the leg 10 times. There should be 0 momentum here. So even if you need to be all the way back here, you shouldn't be like flopping the leg up. Go as far back as you need to in order to lift the leg. If you lean all the way back and you cannot lift the leg, bend your knee and just find a range that's challenging to lift your leg like that, all right? So I should have mentioned that in the first one, but it's all good. So here we go. Deep breath in, pressing into the ground or the object that you have over here, and 10 liftoffs. Here we go. Lift and drop. Go as deep, as far forward as you can. 2, 3, mega quad cramp. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. Then from here, let's work our isometric movement path 5 times. You're going to lift, bend the knee. I'm going to struggle on this side. Internally rotate, drop down. If you can get them to land together, that's preferable. When you're ready, lift, externally rotate, straighten the knee, drop down, lift, bend, internally rotate, drop down, lift, externally rotate, extend. You could do what's called anchoring, which is where you might hold this leg. That's going to give you more stability. I think this is number 3. Let's go with that. Lift, bend the knee, internally rotate, drop down, lift, externally rotate, straighten, drop. 2 to go. Lift, bend, internally rotate. Struggling. Lift, externally rotate, straighten, down. Lift, bend, internally rotate, drop. Lift, externally rotate, straighten, drop. All right, so final bit here. Got quite a bit of movement through the hips. Should be feeling pretty good for a squat. So let's go ahead and go to a standing position. You can use your yoga block for this if you like. It'll just make things a little easier. we're going to work on passive range holds for abduction in the squat, which means the opening of your thighs, okay? So again, what I had said before was if the deep squat is, if you know it's gonna be challenging for you, you should sit on these blocks and you can train from this position. If you want a challenge, take the blocks away and we're gonna do it from a free standing squat, okay? So that's what I'm gonna try to do. It's been a while since we've done this drill. I know that this one is tough. So let's think about using the hip to pull into the squat. So imagine using the front of your hip right here, both sides, and pulling the thigh towards the chest in order to get deep into this squat position. Now, place your elbows right on top of the thigh. This is kind of like our goblet squat position. And what I want you to do is push that right knee all the way out until it can't go any farther. Take your elbow away and don't let it move. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push it all the way out again. Focusing on the right knee, not necessarily the left. And then drop the elbow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do one more. Push that right knee all the way out. Keep the foot in contact with the ground. Drop that right elbow in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stand. Now, what you're doing is you're pushing that knee all the way out. Then you're contracting the outside of your glute or your butt or the outside of your thigh to hold it there as you take away the support, okay? So this is passive range hold again, except we're doing it under a much higher threshold of tension. All right, you're in a full squat now. This is a totally different story than just trying to do this in supine like we did before, laying on the ground. So again, let's go down. We'll do the left side this time, left hip. If you need to, sit on a stool or on some blocks for this, okay? Drive the left knee open as wide as you can. Think about pulling it away from the elbow and then pull the elbow, let the elbow drop. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drive that left knee out. Pull it away from the elbow and drop the elbow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Try to stay tall as you do this. Think about your head being up tall. And last one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And stand. Now we're going to do both sides together, passive range hold. So driving the knees out at the same time. We'll do 3 of those. Final set will be a passive range lift off in the deep squat, all right? So this is tough stuff. Hopefully you guys are feeling all right. Getting a little warmer in here, which is awesome. Okay, here we go. So again, if you're sitting on something, just use your elbows to drive this out. So let's go into your squat. Drive the knees as wide as you can. Think about pulling them off the elbows and then let the elbows come in. 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, push those knees out as wide as is comfortable. And then drop the elbows. Don't let the knees cave in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last set. Use the elbows to pry the knees apart. Pull them away from the elbows and then take the elbows away. 4, 3, 2, 1. And stand. Whoo. This is where you may run into the limitations of your clothing. If you're wearing pants or shorts that are too tight, then you're not necessarily going to run into limitations of your joints, but the fabric or the clothing that you wear is not going to let you move this way. Food for thought, if you want to have healthy hips, every pair of pants or shorts that you buy, see if you can bring your knee up, see if you can squat. If you can, buy those pants. If you can't, they're going to make you less mobile. So my guys who are wearing suits all the time, or ladies who are wearing professional clothes where you can't bend your legs, it's making your mobility worse, okay? So here we go, final squat. That's why spandex is great, right? Final squat, let's get deep into our squat. These are gonna be passive range lift-offs for hip abduction. So drive those knees all the way out. You shouldn't be able to move them. Now, bring them in a little bit and pull them away together from the elbows. So pull off, bring them back in. Pull off, back in. We're gonna do 5. 3, back to the elbow. 4, back to the elbow. 5, and stand. All right. Very nice work. I hope that this class was accessible for you. I really tried to think of a lot of workarounds, but also that it was challenging and enjoyable. And hopefully now your hips are feeling excellent and you feel light on your feet and you have a super strong week. All right, so see you guys in the next class. Thank you very much.